It's 253 this weekend.
Right, and
It's
they're back
253.
on They're back on Fight Island.
Back on Fight Island. Do you want to do Dom Reyes versus Jan first? Your pick. You want to do the Reyes Jan fight?
Blachowicz.
Okay. I think this will be a good fight. I think Dom Reyes can approach this fight as if he's defending because I know you disagree, but I think he beat John Jones when they fought. Either way, before we get into the fight itself, do you think when the fight is over, people will acknowledge the winner as the true champion at 205? Because John Jones didn't actually lose the belt and he kind of gave it up.
And he didn't. Here's the other thing. People just hate John Jones, and they, there's people out there that like just kind of yearn for change. So with that being said, like if that was just two random fighters and you watch that fight, everyone would say that John Jones won that fight. If they objectively watched it, if they were just if Reyes was fighter A and John Jones was fighter B, they would say that fighter B won the fight. However, since he got challenged the way that he did, and everybody, the same thing happened with Gustafsson. If you go back and watch that first Gustafsson fight with no commentary and you're just watching it, Jones won that fight, and like there's really not that strong of an argument otherwise. Like Gustafsson won the first 2 rounds. But same thing here. Like Jones came back and won, but people just, were whatever. I think Reyes wins.
Here's why you're wrong. Reyes won 1, 2, and 3. John Jones won 4 and 5.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Alexander Gustafsson maybe won 3 rounds. I thought he won that fight. Watch.
It's not what happened.
So you're wrong twice.
No. Well, obviously I'm not, because John Jones won both fights.
Allegedly.
No, he did.
Allegedly.
No, he allegedly implies that he may or may not have officially won the fight, and he did, because he was still the champion after both.
I agree Dom Reyes will win this weekend. It'll be interesting whether or not you think that Dom Reyes won the first 3 rounds against John Jones, which
he didn't.
Correctly think that he did.
Well, it's because it's not correctly because he's not the champion.
I'm not the one who made the mistake. The judges made the mistake.
So 2 out of the 3 judges made a mistake.
Correct.
Cool.
Correct.
Well, we'll have to tune into their podcast to get their thoughts behind.
Since they don't have a podcast, this is the official.
Right.
He came out strong in the first 3 rounds, then he faded in rounds 4 and 5. So
he came out strong for the first 11 minutes of the fight. John Jones went into fucking beast mode. So I think he's going to win. Although I did watch Jan's fight versus Luke Rockhold today, and he got his head knocked off his shoulders by...
Yeah. And that was his first fight at 205. And
that was his last fight at 205.
That was his last fight at 205 and potentially forever.
No, he's coming back. So he says.
Allegedly.
Anyway, Dominic Reyes is going to win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close.
I think he's going to grind it out. I think it's going to be a 5-round decision.
I agree. I don't think that... I don't think Jan is a bad fighter. I don't think it's... I think if either of these guys win, they're legitimately the champion at 205. And I don't think 205 is a super deep division right now, but I think that with John Jones not in the mix, these 2 guys are the best 2 guys. So this is the right fight to make to determine who the champion is now.
I like it.
In the Adesanya...
The main event of the evening.
You're getting pretty good at that.
Thank you.
Izzy versus Costa.
Yeah.
This is you know what I love saying about this fight?
What?
Somebody's O must go because it's 2 undefeated fighters. And
yeah.
remember in the WEC, what was the announcer's name? He does UFC events now sometimes when Bruce Buffer doesn't feel like traveling. Doesn't matter. Here's his picture on the screen. He used to say somebody's O must go like more passionately than any other part of the announcing. So he would like peak too early by saying that.
Yeah, then he's
like, somebody's O must go.
And
Mike
then
Callahan's fighting against Justin Luskin. This is what they weighed. It's 2 guys who are undefeated. Costa has won. I didn't know this until I was doing some research for the show. 12 of 13 fights by stoppage, and the only person he didn't stop was Yoel Romero,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty ridiculous. 9 stoppages in the first round, 12 of 13 wins are by stoppage, never lost a fight. And he looks like he's carved out of stone.
Yeah, I think Adesanya's going to win.
I agree. It's a smaller cage.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that if you're Costa, you go with the Yoel Romero game plan. Izzy wants to counter strike. You don't engage. You make him sort of lead the dance. Costa needs to get inside the range. He needs to attack the body. Costa throws a lot to the body. The smaller cage might help him accomplish that, but if you start over pursuing Izzy, he's a precise striker who's just going to pick you apart.
Yeah, he's a great counter striker.
But you saw what happened in the Romero fight where Romero wouldn't lead the dance and he couldn't counter strike. He really couldn't get off. So it's tactically it's an interesting matchup. It's not just this hulking monster who's just throwing haymakers and a precision striker. It's like two different styles that can make it can be an interesting strategic matchup even more than the physical matchup.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree. I think Costa needs to come out and stick to a game plan, and if he does, I think he can be successful.
One attribute that will help Costa is Costa has a chin. Romero clipped him a couple times with heavy, heavy shots, and he just kept coming forward, kept coming forward, kept coming forward. So to accomplish his goal of the way he needs to beat Izzy, that's going to be a pretty big tool to have.
How old is Adesanya?
He's got to be like 27.
He's 31.
Is he really?
Yes. He was a kickboxer before this.
Wow. So official prediction is Adesanya. Adesanya for you as well.
And Reyes.
I'm tempted to pick against Reyes just so we can have some variety in our picks, but unanimous is unanimous. It is what it is.